You can look like a god, but then you smell horrible, and automatically I'm just like,
it disappears. The attraction,
it goes.
It's gone.
It's gone.
I know,
It's gone.
and that's the thing about me. Like if I bypass, especially for me now, if I bypass a man who smells nice,
yeah, you're left.
I even know the cologne. I'm like, that one smells expensive.
Yeah.
I like
And
how
you
he
guys,
smells.
there's a psychology to how you smell.
Another thing, would you tell a friend if you saw the boyfriend or husband in the club with a different girl?
Yo.
Shh. Boom, 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 boom.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Ages and Stages podcast. My name is Dee, and I've got the voluptuous,
Boom, boom, boom.
the one and the only.
Beldina Kasema.
Thank you for joining us again on another episode of Ages and Stages podcast. You guys, the last few episodes have been absolutely incredible engaging with you guys. We've had fun, and we can't wait for you to listen to some of the episodes coming up. There's one in particular that's my favorite, with an amazing senator architect, Sylvia Kasanga. Absolutely incredible conversation. I can't wait for you guys to listen to that.
Awesome.
But yeah, we're here. We're back again with another episode. Today we're going to be talking about the kind of truths that you can tell your friends. The kind to what extent can you be honest with your friends? Yeah. And this comes from conversations we have just in our normal day-to-day life. We're just like, okay, can you tell your friend this? Oh, can you tell your friend when they do this? Can you tell your friend when they do that? And one of the questions Beldina asked me was, do you think you can tell your friend if they stink? And I was like, oh my God. Okay, because we've all been, and I think this applies to everyone, honestly. We've all been in a situation where you're sat next to or you're standing next to someone and you're like, woof, I'm getting a whiff of something. Maybe even you're the one people are getting a whiff of and you don't know. But I know for sure, for me, I have a very sensitive sense of smell. It got even worse when I was pregnant.
You're kidding me.
I'm telling you, I could smell you from a suburb away. I could smell you coming. And I was extremely sensitive to smell.
Wow.
So, but like smells that I considered unfavorable. I'm not going to call them bad smells because some of them, I could smell garlic and I'm like, oh God. And I love garlic. But yeah, like I remember when I was pregnant, I'd smell garlic and immediately want to throw up. So yeah, things like that. But I know in terms of like body odor, bad breath, maybe even bad old hair, when you hug someone and they haven't washed their braids in 7 years. Like it's hectic.
Would you tell somebody?
And I feel like the level of honesty for me personally would depend on how well I know you and how comfortable I think you are with the truth. Yeah.
Me, it's the last part more than the first part.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, and of course with Ages and Stages, we're talking about an intersection between formal education and what we're learning from the school of life.
No,
and
this
smell.
is just,
let me tell you, is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like the things you can tell somebody. And for me, the last part of it, what you said, how someone will take it. Because there are people who I'm close to and I know how they take things. And sometimes I'd be able, I wouldn't want to tackle that with them.
So for me, I've found that, with different interactions with different people, I've found that I can be too direct for some people. And so I usually, especially if it's someone I don't know very well, I have to gauge how sensitive you are, how sensitive you are to the truth, how sensitive you are to jokes, how sensitive you are to like blunt, kind of, there's a level of bluntness that it takes to tell someone, you're kind of smelling funky, a little bit funky. So those are the considerations that I make, but it's usually a difficult conversation, especially when it comes to like things like smells. If you have something in your teeth, I find that easy to tell you, you have some lipstick on your teeth, you have your eyelash is wonky. I find those things a bit easier, but to tell you that you smell,
that's a whole other conversation.
Let's role play.
Let me tell you.
Let's say we're sitting here and I'm like, I catch a whiff of like, woof.
Mind you,
by the way, she smells great.
I
okay,
smell great. Come
she
on.
smells great. But I think the first thing you would notice is my face would be like, my face betrays me before my mouth does.
I know.
So I think I'd just be like, then maybe you'd find me moving, shifting. You'll find me on the corner of the sofa. And that's if I don't know what to say. If I know you very well, I'll be like, babes, you need deodorant.
Where's your deo?
Yeah, where's your deo? Do you need to
buy
borrow
you
some?
No.
Do you need a quick spray? Do you need a refresh?
Now, what do you do with friends? Like, I have a friend of mine who does not believe in deodorant.
Oh, look.
They believe in showering.
And I have a family member like this.
I do not spend too much time with them.
And I always tell them,
like,
please, you need deodorant immediately. It's a public service. It's a public service. Like, you're not just wearing deodorant for yourself. If it's just you.
I'm trying not to. It's a public service.
Listen, if it's just you, you can stink for yourself, right?
But it's all of us.
If I come in this house, it's a public service for you to do the minimum. Wash your mouth, wash your armpits, wash your nether regions.
I'm telling you.
And smell decent.
Nice.
And I say this as someone who leans more towards or wants to adopt more of a natural lifestyle, right? So I remember even one time exploring natural deodorants, and listen, they just don't work for me because why has it worn off after 15 minutes?
You're there, and me, I keep smelling myself. Let me tell you,
I need to smell like roses the whole day.
When I'm smelling, if I smell myself and I'm in the middle of town, I am changing direction when going back home. Yeah. That's how serious I am about smell. Yeah. And then there's also, on the other side of it, something very beautiful about people who smell very nice. Yeah.
It's like, listen, you can look like a god, but then you smell horrible. And automatically I'm just like,
it disappears. The attraction,
it goes.
It's gone.
It's gone.
I know. And then that's the thing about me. Like, if I bypass, especially for me now, if I bypass a man who smells nice, you're left. I even know the cologne. I'm like, that one smells expensive.
Yeah. And you guys, there's a psychology to how you smell.
Really?
Like, yeah. Because you see how, like, for me, I'll give you an example. There's a certain song can play, or I smell a certain cologne or perfume, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm 18, I'm in a matatu, I'm on my way to, like, a memory comes
in a club,
back,
jumping up
because
and
maybe
down.
someone was next to me smelling like that, and so a memory is attached to smells. Memories are attached to things like that, sensory, whatever. So I'm particular about everything, how food smells, how I smell. I want to always have fresh breath, or most, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I always want to make sure at the very least the basics are taken care of. Yeah. And I feel especially, do you feel like there's different pressures between men and women? Because I definitely feel there's more pressure for women to smell, look, taste good compared to men.
You can say that again.
I definitely feel like
it goes with the things. Let me tell you something that I realized: you'll never find men with stuff to wash down there, but women. How many vajayjay washes do we have? Yeah, so that something smells like flowers that is not meant to be smelling like flowers. Yeah, like
eat pineapple for the pum pum.
Okay.
Have you heard? You've heard of that?
Pineapple,
yeah,
actually.
Yeah. But there's foods you can use. Honestly, there's foods you can use to help you smell better, or you know how they say, like, if you eat a lot of garlic, you'll sweat a lot. Your sweat will smell like garlic, or onion, or whatever. That's fine, but I definitely feel like grooming is, like I said, it's a public service.
Yes, it is.
You have to do. It's part of being, like, in an acceptable society situation.
It is.
It is, because
and if you're going around people, you can have your stand in your own house. Yeah. But then please don't affect everyone else with how you're smelling or everything. It really does matter in terms of that. You're allowed to take a stand on some things, and some things, come on. Yeah. Me, I don't accept this stand.
Have you ever offended a friend or a potential lover or a lover or whatever?
Because now boyfriend falls under friend. Yeah. Yes,
no, boyfriend is under friend.
No, it's a boy.
Unless you're a baby boomer. You know how our parents never ever recognize. That was the same. Mine never ever said boyfriend. They were like, your friend. Yeah. So your friend. It's either friend or husband, friend or wife.
Mine still say friend up to now. It's not about to change. But then I used to have one. Yeah. I was dating this guy, and my God, he was gorgeous. Yeah. Beautiful human. Yeah. And everything. until the first time we kissed, and I almost died. And suffice to say, now with my naivety, I really wanted to change him.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to work.
So what did you do? Did you go ahead with a kiss?
No.
You cut it short?
I got there. I was like, oh, change of mind.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to hide.
Yeah. So what did you say?
I was like, no. I don't kiss on the first date or something random like that. But then later on,
meanwhile, you're about to pass out. You need oxygen.
You're dating for a while,
Yeah.
and then you cannot like forgo the kisses. So now we begin to talk. So I buy him like a particular toothpaste that I was sure would work on his breath. But then he was so offended. That relationship ended there.
I mean, okay, that's the thing. This must have been a young guy.
But he was very offended.
Yeah, because I think that would only offend a young-ish person, because by the time you're in your 30s, it's a reality of life. All of us wake up with morning breath, every single human. I mean, my baby has just stopped smelling like a baby recently, and now he smells like a human. And I'm like, no, like why can I smell your breath? You used to smell like cotton or whatever, the sky. And now I'm like, okay, now you're becoming a human. Now I have to brush your little teeth, your 4 teeth. But yeah, like I feel like it's one of those things where, one, you have to have an honest conversation with the person you're with, because again, it's like me not showering for a week, and
you know that people don't shower
together,
for a week.
We're living together, we're sharing the same space. I'm
like, come
just,
on,
what am I supposed to?
I'll put you in that shower. I'll come with that bucket I'll come with that bucket in your bed.
Yeah.
You try me. I am coming for everything. But then talking about things you can tell somebody as a friend, talking now more seriously. Say a friend is the kind of person who uses people. And by use, I mean you find that whenever you're around them, you're always paying the bills, or you're the person who's always taking care of something, or you're the one who's always planning. Would that be a subject that you can approach with someone?
Yeah. And more so now, though, in life than before. I'm a recovering people pleaser. So I have to always constantly fight my need to be liked and my need to keep the peace with authenticity. So again, it's something that I fight for my child's life. For instance, I want him to be able to express himself authentically, even when it's not pleasing to me or to others, right? Which means that I have to accept unpleasant truths from him, which is something I didn't grow up experiencing. And so I became a people pleaser as a result. And so for that reason, I would overlook a lot of things and end up betraying myself in the process because I haven't stood up for myself. I'm too scared to say no. I'm too worried that you're not going to like me. I'm too worried that I'm going to offend you and therefore you won't love me, you won't accept me. And so for that reason, I overlooked too many things. Whereas now I'm getting to the point in life where I don't necessarily care to be liked that much. I've formed relationships to where I'm just like, okay, I'm at a certain point where if I can't be my full unedited self with you, then I'll just maybe remove myself from your space, or you'll find I'm not necessarily as active in your life, or we're not active in each other's lives the way we probably could be if I could be my true, authentic, unedited self. That to me is the thing that is the precious gift that I hold now in friendship, and the space that I hope that I create for others is that you be your unedited self with me, and I'll try my best to hold space for you because I need the same. I need to be able to I need to be able to say, yo, you need to pay for this, or you need to pay for a quarter of this, or you need to support me in this way, or you need to contribute in this way, whether it's time, because you don't only just contribute with money, whether it's time, whether it's sharing, even sharing responsibilities, like we share responsibilities on this podcast.
That's true.
We take turns posting and that kind of thing. If you don't have those conversations, what will happen is, and Ian Lavanzant said this, is when you have a false expectation of someone, you make them a thief without them realizing it. So let's say
if you have a false expectation of someone,
yeah,
you make them a thief
without them
knowing.
Yeah, because they've taken something from you without them knowing. You've never communicated that, Beldina, I need you to post every Monday. But I don't tell you I need you to post every Monday. Every Monday comes, you don't post, I get angry, I get upset. I've made you a thief without you knowing it.
That's true.
And it's unloving, it's unkind, it's unrealistic. Now
and you begin to resent
that
the
person
whole
for
conversation.
no reason.
I agree.
And then you built it up in your head to the point where when you're having those conversations, it's now like, why don't you post on my, I thought you knew. It's blown up.
Because of the expectation.
In a situation where it could have been an easy conversation. Yo, I need you to support me on Mondays.
And I'll say,
and
yes.
you'll be like, okay, yes,
cool.
or no,
Let's do
and
this.
whatever.
Yeah.
And at least we've had the conversation. Yeah.
I like that. And it's very interesting to say that. And I know what is, I want to just take it back a little when you've said it used to be very, very hard. And the coping mechanisms I used to use a lot of. I'd find that we'd be somewhere and maybe I have a friend I had a particular friend, every time there'd be the one with a plan, taking me out, wanting to go. But then when it comes to the bill, they just look at me. And it used to bother me so much, but I could never really say anything.
Yeah.
Because I always felt like I don't want to lose the friendship. And perhaps if I say this, then they should know. And I was feeling so bad telling her that, wait, please changia this much. And I didn't want to lose the friendship. But then I knew that sometimes I didn't even have enough to be able to cover both of us. But every time I went out, and it's a girl, not a dude, I'd have to, if I went out with her, I'd have to pay for the bill.
Right.
And eventually,
I've never been in that position.
Yeah.
With friends.
Me now, I have. And eventually, I had to learn coping mechanisms. So here's the thing. I learned to tell people split the bill from the beginning.
Okay.
I tell the waiter, bill zetu ni separate.
Oh, like so that you,
Yeah,
so you avoid that conflict from the beginning.
Yes, because I know I will lack the ability to be confrontational.
What is more painful than splitting bills? Okay. Meanwhile, someone has had a sniff of a samosa. So another one has had 3 courses. You have to split the bill.
And the challenge is, the people who actually end up taking this, taking over, or like this girl would end up eating some of the craziest things, and she'd always have like crazy drinks. I'm like, nikiangalia expense. I'm like, leo ni kuisha mimi. Hiyo ni pesa yangu ya the whole week. Nimelipia mtu. But I used to be so afraid of a confrontation and everything. But before that, so the ability to cope came from dealing with it from the beginning. I learned to deal with things from just the onset, that I know that if we're going to split a bill, I have a way. Or if I can't split the bill, or I don't want to have the confrontation, I don't show up.
Okay.
I'll be like, you go.
Yeah.
And one day I did her dirty.
Yeah.
So I told her I was coming.
What'd you do?
I told her I was coming. So
no, you didn't.
She goes out, yes. I'm like, I'm on my way.
And then?
And
she's ordered the whole menu.
Yes. And then my phone went off.
Expecting her wallet to appear. Her wallet on wheels. Okay. So then she ordered the whole menu. She's expecting you to go pay. You don't show up.
I don't show up and the phone goes off.
Game chafu.
Sasa niko ndani ya kitanda.
But pia alikucheza game chafu.
For a lesson.
Yeah.
Sometimes some of these people, I'm not saying do that, but you guys, some of these people, you gotta be like,
have the conversation, I would say. And also, if you're treating someone, make it clear from the beginning, this is my shout. So that they know, yes, the bill is taken care of. Because I think also in Kenya there's a different attitude to bills when someone has invited you somewhere.
Yes.
So from living in Australia, your bill is your bill is your bill is your bill. Even on a date.
Even when someone calls you out.
Yes.
Even on a date.
Let me tell you, you have to clarify. Honestly, you have to clarify with the person you're going. I'm telling you, you have to clarify with the person you're going on a date with, whether they're treating you to the date or whether you're splitting.
Hold on. Halves. You're like, babe, I want to see you. And then I ask you, are we paying half and half?
Yeah, don't just assume. I'm telling you, don't just assume that the person who called you on a date is going to pay. Don't assume that in Australia, because it's not a normal assumption. People pay their own bills. That's the norm. So I find it more like, especially in group settings, like you say, when you know there's going to be many people, many orders, the waiters are going to be asking whose bill is what, they can't split the bill or whatever. Either carry enough money. Something that I do, especially when money is tight, I'll look at the menu beforehand, look at what drink am I going to have, what food am I going to have, add the total, make sure I have that money. I make, even if it's exact, make sure I have that exact money, so that when I go to the restaurant, there's no surprise for me. There's no surprise for whoever I'm with, and there's no surprise for the wait staff.
That's
so that
true.
it's a seamless whatever.
And it's very strange. You say it in like a relationship status, but then like context. But then I'm talking even when you have friends around. Most days, if you tell a friend, let's go out or let's go here, usually the expectation is that you're the one treating them. So it's very like if someone invites you out for dinner, the expectation is someone is paying.
I never have that expectation ever.
That said, though, my mother always taught me to carry some money. Never ever go for those things with no money.
Never.
Carry your amount so that mtu akikuletea shida hapo, you can pay and leave.
Yeah, you can pay your, at least you can pay your portion.
Yes.
Yeah, not everything. You don't have to pay everything, but be able to at least pay your portion, because you're the embarrassment. Can you imagine? Yeah, you will find yourself in the kitchen with cuts on your hands.
And then those waiters, the way they don't feel qualms, they will embarrass you, in front of people. Ati kwanza walikuwa wanakula sana.
Please, I will move country.
But those are some of the things. Now, another thing. Would you tell a friend if you saw the boyfriend or husband in the club with a different girl?
Shh.
Boom, 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 boom.
If you're a close friend to where I know your partner, he's not a stranger to me.
Would you say something?
I would tell your partner to tell you before I do. Because
hold on.
Yeah,
it's an interesting one.
Yeah, because
most people are usually like so keen to take a video and send their girl.
No. I couldn't do that because I couldn't imagine receiving that. I couldn't do that. That's not the way I would break it to my friend either. I just don't think I could not do that.
I feel like there's a level of malice by the time someone takes a video to show you, uyu ndo ule boyfriend unapenda.
Well, maybe it's malice. I don't know what it is, but I've heard people doing that a lot. People do that a lot, where they're just like, yeah, here's the evidence. Boom. Can you imagine you're just sat here watching Netflix and you receive that kind of video?
And then
do you know what I mean?
We have a whole life together.
Yeah. So for me, in that situation, like I said, it depends on what level of friendship we have. If we're close enough to where I know the guy or the girl, then I'd rather tell you, yo, go to your person. I've seen you, you've seen me. I can't face them now, knowing what I know. So I need you to say something before I do, because there's no way I can continue my friendship with you and I've caught your person cheating and I look you in the eye every day. I can't do it.
But what if he goes and turns the story around?
That's
how
fine.
Sure are you that it will be honest? Like he says, I was seated with my friends, and then your girl saw me, but she assumed it was something else. Are you like, at least she was told, or do you clarify?
Yeah, you see, now that's the thing. That's the part where it gets messy and hazy. But like I said, I'd just be like, you need to tell them before I do. And for me, I'll tell them exactly. I would tell, and if it's in that situation and you came to me as my friend and you're like, D, tell me what you saw, I'll tell you what I saw.
Honestly.
Yes. I'll tell you what I saw.
I don't know. Like I'm always afraid that people shoot the messenger. I wouldn't know. The one thing that I know is that I couldn't sit with it. Yeah. But then I'm also not the kind of person who sends you a video. Yeah. I've had conversations with friends and I'm like, baby girl, okay, this is what happened. Yeah. And then what happens is the person comes and changes the story. Or
but
even
you know,
the guy.
A lot of people need evidence, like you say.
Yes.
A lot of people need evidence.
And says, Bedina is the one who actually likes me.
Exactly, because there's no evidence. And that's where the evidence comes in. That's where the video comes in, because now the story can't be turned around into, D and Anitaka, that's why she's like making up lies about me. Remember I told you these friends of yours? And then now they gaslight you into thinking your friends are the ones who want your man, rather than, your man is doing some dodgy shit in the club. I've actually been in a situation where I was much younger, years and years ago, probably a decade ago or so, where I was in that situation. I knew a friend was cheating on the partner and I couldn't say anything. I froze. I couldn't say anything.
When you're younger, you don't even know
what
tools you can use.
Because of that exact fear of someone being like...
changing it up.
Not changing it up. Being like, no, you want my man. No, you're after my man. And I had seen it, we've seen it happen to so many people where I take my girl's side, I take your side in a fight or whatever. You guys get back together. You release me as a friend.
Yes.
Okay. And now I'm just there on the outskirts of a friendship that I thought was solid because
I came and told you.
Yeah, it's a really complicated area of life, and like I said, it would depend on how deep a friendship goes. The stakes that I attach to it.
I actually like your approach to it. The fact that you approach the person, you say, I've seen you, you've seen me, I need you to sit down with this person.
I think it needs to come
Do you
from
take a
the
video
person.
before? Now that you've said we need evidence, me, I might take a video.
I don't know if
so
I
that
would.
I can keep the...
I just don't know if I would. I don't think I'd have even the presence of mind to be like, camera, record. No. If I put myself in that situation, I'd rather hear from my partner. I'd rather hear from... I don't need to see the video.
Yes.
I don't need to see that shit.
Usually, kwanza mimi, taking a video and sending it to someone, come on.
No, I find...
Just hapo kwanza kama ako home. You're like
I said, imagine you're minding your business. You're here, no pants on. You're here, just a t-shirt, Netflix. You're chilling in that corner of the couch. You open your phone, bing.
Someone sent you a video. You think it's a funny video. It's your husband with somebody.
What is this?
You're like, come on.
Out of the blue, you're just sending me literally a video that will finish my relationship.
I know.
No.
I think at that point, careful as well.
At that point, I feel like a conversation is absolutely necessary over things like a video. But again, it depends on the kind of friendship you had, like you said. Because if you're the type of friend who would accuse me of wanting your man, then maybe that's why people resort to taking videos.
But then as well, either way, I think sometimes when you go telling a friend, your friendship is doomed. I don't know why. I always know that this friendship, the minute you do, because what happens is eventually it's more often than not people resolve these things.
That's what I'm saying.
And when they resolve
like crickets.
Yeah, like I told you, but and then what happens is they decide you're the enemy.
Yeah.
And when they decide you're the enemy,
that's the thing.
You're in shit
so
along.
Again, the level of friendship, the level of sisterhood, the history we have, that all of that plays a part. But like I said, if you're my friend and you're doing shady shit, I'll tell you.
Even me, I'll call you out.
Yeah, I'll just
Even me, I'll be like, hey, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
However, I also think that it's very important. Like for me, having conversations are important. I like to know how someone thinks. So me, I might present it as an idea. I might not approach it very directly, but I might say, Dee, what would you say to a friend if you did it? And that's not what I'm doing, I promise.
No, I know, yeah.
But then what would you do? Because I want to see your reaction. I want to see, and I'd ask you, so how would you approach it? And once I hear how you'd approach it, that's the exact way I will approach it to make sure that I am communicating that
in a way that
it was not from a malicious point. I need you to hear me.
What would you want to... How would you
Don't send me a video.
Yeah.
If you send me a video, I am killing somebody.
Surely,
and it might be the
phone.
Don't send me a video.
Yeah.
But then there's the other side of it that I think we have to learn to be very, what is this? Gentle with people. Compassionate, that's the word, yes. Compassionate with people when we do these things. Because I would not want a video. But if you sat me down and you told me, I'd actually I'd take consideration. I'd hear you. And then I'd be like, okay. And then it might take me some time because I'll say, let me observe this behavior before I judge it completely. Yeah. But then my resentment will not go to the person who actually tells me.
Okay.
I'm keen that the friendship stays because this is someone I count as very loyal to me as well. So I'd want to hear it.
Yeah.
And that's why I've always approached it from, I'll tell the person. But now that I hear your idea, I'm like, I'd want to know what someone would want before I actually approach the conversation.
I'd be the same. I'd want to know how to give you the information in a way that you can receive, because like I said, you're saying this, another friend would say, I need the evidence, I need the video, I need the blood group of that girl, I need her address. Do you know what I mean?
I hope you walked up to her and shouted.
There's people who need all of that.
That's true.
Whereas what you're saying is, I'd be happy with just a conversation based on our friendship, and then I take it from there and make my own decision,
yes.
Which is the same thing I would like, because I would want to hear it from my partner, and if not, if I'm hearing it, I'd rather hear it from a friend or someone who loves me truly, because obviously someone who loves you will break those kinds of things in a way that they know you can receive, or that's close to how you can receive. Sure. They're not gonna just be like, boom, deal with it. Here's a grenade, boom,
burn it down.
Deal with the bomb I've just thrown your way.
And I think it's important as well to mention that just because you're the person, say you're the friend giving this information, to give grace to the person receiving it.
Yeah.
How they react and how they choose to action it is not in your control.
Yeah.
Like starting to hound them. You said that if anyone ever cheats, you have to leave and everything, but you're not leaving. Yeah. What's happening? You gotta give people grace. Yeah. I think it's very important.
And I promise you, we make all these declarations. I would never, ever be with a guy who does X, or be with a woman who does Y. And then the guy does X. And you find yourself reacting differently. You see?
That's true.
It's always, like you say, very important to give people grace, because in that moment, your world has been shaken. So
allow them
your reaction is not, I don't want to say normal, but it's not what you're dealing with on a day-to-day. So I can't expect you to be like, oh, okay, no worries. Thank you for telling me my world is, a lie.
Burning. And it's not logical. It has a lot of emotion with some of these things. So giving people grace when you like blow up the world is very, very important. I'll give you an example. I've had friends who are in a domestic violence kind of situation. And the way I feel, and the way every time this situation happens again and again, all I want to do is buy a gun. And we've had situations where you put someone in jala who possibly the partner beat up the other person. This person who beat up someone, you put them in jala. The person who goes, removes them from prison is this person. And learning to give grace in such situations, because the day someone wants to come out of such a situation, you want them, or if ever anything they want to get out, they're not feeling isolated.
And I read this statistic about domestic violence at some point. It was saying people who experience domestic violence might leave after like the fourth attempt, seventh attempt. Very rare for people to leave after the first attempt.
True.
And again, it's like I said, you always think in your head, I will never, ever stay with someone who does this. Then it happens. Then you're like, oh my God. So number one is, the other thing I would say to us just as individuals is, whatever your boundaries are, whatever your hard lines are, be willing to walk away when those hard lines have been crossed.
Yes. Very important.
When your hard line is crossed, walk away. That's the only way to protect yourself from the insanity of going through it again and again and again, because that's insanity loading.
But half the time, by the time someone is experiencing domestic violence, love, usually they've gone through so much. This person has cut down their internal strength and everything, anything they used to believe in. Usually, first of all, they isolate a person, and this is how you begin to notice things are different. This person can no longer, and what happens is they know that if Beldina, every time I'm in trouble or I'm in hospital, I can't call Beldina because Beldina will come and bitch about it. So this person is always isolated. So being able to be there for them, regardless of how you feel about the situation, is possibly the hardest challenge for friendship.
This is school of life things,
Yeah.
School of life. Like,
you're like, because at the end of the day, it has to be someone's decision to walk away or to stay.
It has
now, I've seen people who, they stay in abusive marriages, people who stay in relationships that someone has cheated, i.e. Jay-Z and Beyonce, and with everything, stayed and everything, and found a way to deal with it. And even Jay-Z talks about it, and he talks about the change of behavior, which becomes the actual way you are able to say sorry. But then, so we've seen people change and do these things, and people stay and stick it out. Or people who walk away, because we can't fault anyone who decides to walk away. So having that situation and being like, okay, I think it's important to be able to just give grace depending on how someone wants to react.
Yeah, I agree. And again, there's no cookie cutter way to do this. Every situation will call for a different reaction based on the relationships that you have. I try to have the kind of relationships where if I tell you something that is, I would say, horrific, it's coming from someone who loves you and is not trying to rock your world. Like for me to deliver that news to you would have broken my heart first.
True.
It's broken my heart first.
I've probably battled it really hard.
It's broken my heart first because that's how you feel about the people you love. And if I see someone cheating on someone I love, I'm just like, my heart is broken already because I can feel,
because I really wanted it to work out for you.
Yeah, yes. I can feel that what this would do to you, woman to woman. I know what that means. You know, I've been cheated on, so I know what it means. So yeah, like I said, I hope I have the kind of relationships where that is clear, that if I'm ever in a situation where I have to deliver that news, God, please no, please. It cannot be a messenger of doom. But anyway,
Grace.
If I ever have to be in that situation, I hope the person I'm telling or the person I'm talking to just knows this is coming from a place of, I care about you, I love you, but you gotta watch your back. This is what's happening.
This is what's going on.
Yeah.
Completely. And it's very, very important.
Yeah.
Now, here comes another one. Would you tell a coworker that they're getting fired?
No.
So you found out that they're getting fired. You would not tell a coworker that they're about to lose their job and to prepare?
Oh, hang on. Okay. Sorry. I heard that the other way around. I heard it. Would you tell a coworker you're about, like, I'm the one firing them? Is that what you meant?
No.
Oh, okay.
Like, say you overheard bosses talking.
Yeah.
And then someone...
immediately I'm running to you. Immediately.
To tell you that
within
you're about
the
to
next
lose
5
your
minutes.
job.
Within the next 5 minutes, I'm telling you, go on to, in Australia, what's called seek.com. Go on to seek.com
and
now,
find a job.
Because you're about to lose your job.
I wouldn't know how to say
no,
it.
That one
but I
probably
will tell you.
Easily. I did employ. I was an employment lawyer. I used to tell that to my clients. When I could see the case is not going there, I'd be like, Han, look for a new job.
It's time to change.
Now.
It's time to begin right now.
Look for a new job yesterday.
Now, I'll tell you this.
What would you do?
I would tell you.
Yeah.
I would tell you. I don't know how to hide things. And I do not want... I would want to be told. So I am not letting that go by chance. Nothing. I am telling you. Like, ebu tafuta. Options. Mpaka mimi niko hapo na wewe LinkedIn. Na hii umeona. Na ingine umeona. I am telling you.
Yeah.
Kabisa. But then now, there's the other side of it as well. That people have previously used a lot of shame to be able to correct behavior. Say someone is... like the first question we asked. If someone was thinking, would you tell them? So you'd find that the natural way, I don't want to say natural because it's not natural, but then the way that people have used, especially in the African culture, correction of behavior always used to have a lot of, people would make fun of you so they can correct behavior.
Or the threat of hell.
Yes.
You're going to hell if you do, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah. And me, I tell my niece sometimes, Jesus doesn't love you.
Ooh,
my mother almost killed me for saying
I would finish you if you said that today.
I will never, I promise. I'll get better.
Yeah, I don't subscribe to that as well.
The use of shame to change behavior.
No, I don't subscribe to that as well. Obviously, that's how we were raised. We were raised with being shamed in school. If you got questions wrong, we were beaten. Do you remember? So like we were raised with a lot of that shame of, you know, if you do this will happen to you, or like you're not really corrected based on me trying to develop your character into a better person. It's more like, let me shame you into acting like your brother,
or
let
acting
me shame
the way
you into acting like the neighbor,
like everyone else. Yes, and to conforming.
And what that does is, number one, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes, it is.
If I grow up being compared to you, I will resent you at some point. There's a level of resentment I'll have towards you, towards myself, because I'm like, why am I not like Beldina? And towards the person shaming me, because I'm like, why can't you love me for who I am? So it's so multifaceted that those are the things we unpack in therapy today. Do you understand?
True.
So
the shame, like again, people who use things like, I'd rather... The one thing that I dislike, the one thing, is that if you have a challenge with me, that you go speaking to everybody else but me. If you ever want to cross me, that's how this friendship ends. Like if you have a problem, just say as it is. If I smell a certain way, just tell me. Don't go telling. And
everyone but you.
Yes, that's a challenge. Or someone snores when they sleep, and they usually fall asleep in the office a lot. You find people talking about you in the bathroom. You're like, no.
Yeah.
Why didn't
that's
someone
juvenile?
say?
It's juvenile. And again, like I told you, remember when we were talking about workplace politics? It's something I encountered in the workplace a lot.
Really?
A lot. You find this like little groups. People have made these little groups of like, we're a clique. We don't like this person, or we don't like that person, or this person is weird in this way, and this person. And that's what I was telling you. I take my time in the workplace to observe people because I want to know which crowd will accept me, which crowd is likely to be in the bathroom talking about me, those things. And that only comes with time from studying people. So yeah,
time.
Uncomfortable truths are there. I just hope we have the maturity to have those conversations, because at the end of the day, I think everybody, correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody has a different opinion, but I think everybody would appreciate honesty, even if it stings a little bit.
Sure.
Compared to me lying to your face and having you believe your hair is red when it's clearly not red.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Again, it's the battle for authenticity versus likability. And another like I was telling you before, I don't want my son to feel in order for me to like him, or in order for me to accept him, he has to mold himself into something else. That's how people pleasing comes to be. I want him to be able to authentically express if he's hurt, if he's angry, even if it's towards me, and still know that he's loved. So that was the Ages and Stages podcast. It's probably an ongoing conversation. You can have this conversation forever and ever and a day. But the thing that I will emphasize, and the thing that I want to live by, is authenticity in relationships. Be honest with your people, your family, your partner, your friends, yourself. Be honest with yourself. That was the Ages and Stages podcast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please follow us on YouTube. Give the video a like. Please share it, because then a lot more people get to see it. A lot more people get to interact with it.
Yes.
A lot more people get this same message that you're getting. We're on all podcast platforms, especially nowadays on Spotify. You can leave us a voice note. So leave us a voice note if this episode resonated with you. We got a voice note the other day on Spotify. I was like, yay! Thank you.
Yeah. We are loving.
So thank you.
And all your comments as well.
This
the
is
one and only.
Yes.
Beldina, the fabulous Beldina Kasema. Bye. Au revoir.
See you next week.
See you next week.